Hi. If you've ever wondered what motivates an entrepreneur to go into business for him or herself, well, you know what? We're going to go through that. Over the next few minutes, we'll talk about what those motivations are. As entrepreneurs and business owners, we know that if we have a clear plan, anything becomes possible. And if you can have a clear plan, a clear process to create that plan, and a way to create clarity with your partner or spouse, you can drive to amazing heights. Traditionally, most people think that the motivations when it comes to starting their own business, joining that entrepreneurial life, it's all about money. I'm here to tell you it's not the truth. The reality is rarely is it money. Sometimes people hit and they do really, really well with it. But majority of the time, it comes down to other factors. Sometimes it's a lot around what is their feeling of fulfillment? Do they feel like they're being valued in their current workplace? Or are they getting bored? The number of people who are disenfranchised with their jobs is horrendous. Horrendous. The reality is that more often than not, people choose to go into an entrepreneurial endeavor because they're looking for a different lifestyle. And in some cases, they think they're going to get something that they're going to get, but in reality, they don't actually get there. So for what we do with the Aspiring Solopreneur is we help people, and through our courses and the books and stuff, is we help people understand, hey, let's start with the end in mind. And what I mean by that is, if people can clearly visualize where do they want to be, where do they want their life to look like in a year? Now in the past, whenever I've done this, traditionally people are like, oh yeah, okay, I want you to visualize what amazing looks like in a year. Okay, I want a Maserati, I want to fly private, I want a bigger house, and then their heads kind of explode. But the reality is those things, where they can be important, and it's nice, I've been there, but what's really important is looking at it on a holistic level, particularly if you're in the younger generations, the Gen Ys and the Gen Zs. I think a lot of the Gen Ys and Gen Zs are some of the hardest working generation we've ever had, if people are really buying into what they're doing. If they're not, if they're doing it just for a paycheck, man, those kids are bouncing out almost immediately. So when I say a holistic approach, let's look at it from a perspective of helping people to define what would amazing look like for your relationships. If you're a parent, do you want to make sure that you go to every one of your kids' soccer games or ballet practices? Maybe you've been too busy at the office and you've been taking your spouse for granted and you haven't invested the time there. Maybe in other cases, maybe your health is suffering. Or we are experiencing epidemic levels of mental health crisis right now, let alone physical, pre-diabetic. I mean, it's just crazy what we're going through. And a lot of that is self-induced through stress and in other ways. Now, in some cases, maybe we do feel like we're being taken for granted, that we are not seeing the treasure that we should be experiencing, meaning we're not getting paid what we should be. And we see that if there's a way that we can do it differently, we can actually make more money by working less. And I've seen this over and over and over. But the reality is when, as a person, I don't want you to jump from one hamster wheel to another hamster wheel. To truly be happy and to truly be successful, to maximize who you are as a person, this is where, when you can go and look at yourself on a holistic level, it's going to help you define, this is where I want to be. Now, if you go to the Aspiring Solopreneur, there is a tool there. You're welcome to download it for free on me. And this tool takes about 6-7 minutes. It'll give you immediate results, but it'll help you start to define, where are you today for health, for your relationships, for your business environment and other aspects. What are the things that you like with that? But it'll help outline where you want to be successful. What does success look like? And a very basic tool that you can do is, once you have that, is go through and visualize for each slice of the pie. There's 12 of them. What would amazing look like for your life in a year? Once you know that, then you can start to back into it and define what are the motivations around these things. Why is this? And then start looking at, well, what kind of business would allow me and empower me to do those things? Because the reality is if all you're after is money, go be a private equity guy for Goldman Sachs, or go be a drug dealer or a grifter or something. But if it's, and I doubt it, very, very, very few people are only focused on the finances. Again, it's nice, it gives benefits, but it's not the only motivating factor. And when you can focus on what is the holistic thing, then that's going to help you. So why does this matter? Well, if you decide that you want to be there for every one of your kids' soccer games, fantastic. You probably need to make sure you're not building a business where you're going to spend 5 days a week on a plane. Or maybe you say, I really like being able to do these things in the morning, the exercise, but I'm happy to work, I'm more of a night person. So I can do design work or coding or whatever it is. I can contract that out in the evenings, or I can do those things in the evening. Fair enough. But figure out what is the lifestyle that you want to build, and then start looking at what is the business that can fit with that. But first, we want to define what are the motivations around you. Understanding what are those things that your ideal life looks like in that well-rounded whole person. Once you know that, then there's very specific exercises that can help you start to figure out where are those areas that you really light up. It's like, man, I get to do this. I don't have to do this. What aspects of that are you doing? So if you love doing design work, fair enough, great. Let's figure out where you're great at it. But then also we need to figure out how we can get some support pieces around you so that you don't get bogged down on that. If you're really a great designer, wonderful, but you have to spend 80% of your time doing the minutia of marketing and sales and management and all this other stuff around that, it's going to be something that you're going to have to be aware of to define, how do I want to build my business? What does that look like? So step one, defining what success looks like for us. Step two, really clearly defining what are the areas that light you up? What makes you happy? What's like, man, I'm the luckiest cat on the planet. I get to do this. Great, we start defining that. Then start defining whatever this is. You can then start to define what are the areas, who's going to value that? What are they going to value from that? Why do they value it? Maybe we end up making adjustments and tweaks. And then there's ways that you actually start slowly stepping into testing it. Now, a big misnomer is that entrepreneurs are big risk takers. I believe that most entrepreneurs are not risk takers. They're very methodical, and then when it comes time to making that decision, you make a very clear but calculated risk. You have a very, very good suggestion or good idea that you're going to be successful. A simple way of saying this is, I vetted this idea that I can do this. I know I can. I have these support pieces around it. I found this person over here who wants to buy my service or product or whatever it is, and they've contracted me with this. I know that if I step there, that I'm automatically getting paid. And sometimes you're going to get paid more. But you build a very clear plan on what that is, step by step by step. Now I'm going to squirrel here for a second. One of the key things is, if you're in a relationship, making sure that you have clear partner and spousal alignment, very, very critical. Because if you're like, okay, I've got this, I'm all there, I've done the research, I'm good, I'm ready to go, and you just go and say, yeah, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to start this business, pretty sure your partner's head's going to explode. But if you go through your partner and say, hey, look, I've been doing this research, this is something that I really value, and this is the lifestyle where I want us to be, okay? This is what I do and I'm great at it and I love this. And these people around here are going to help me. And I have this person over here who's already willing to buy part of this product, and I can safely do that while I keep this other gig going. I'm going to do a little moonlighting for a while until I get this person, but then I'll get 2 or 3 referrals out of them, and then we'll be able to really be able to pull the trigger and start stepping out. When you start defining those things, it allows you to build a very clear but very simple process and step-by-step way to get there. So if you want to learn more, you're welcome to reach out to us at aspiringsolopreneur.com. But for today, please, if you like this video, like it, subscribe, and we'd love, we've got a whole bunch more on this channel that talk about how to build and launch your own business. You can do it, and I tell you what, it's wonderful when you get to feel like the luckiest cat on the planet. Keep smiling.